Hey everybody, it's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the bar room with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
Good evening, Bulls Nation. C Red Radio. Stampede is here. Game 6. J.E. in the building. Gentlemen, say hello to the people.
Bulls Nation. Sorry about that. Got my dog in the background. Jordan, you go first. Move my mic.
I got you, bro. What's going on, peoples, man? I miss y'all, man. It's your boy, Game 6, man. But we back in the building. Barroom is where it's at. And what we doing? Are we talking Bulls or are we done? You know what I'm saying?
Well, first, we're gonna get. Thank you for joining us this evening, Bulls Nation. All right, thank you for taking the time off. We're gonna start this day off with some gains. Okay, because you came here to get filled up. We're gonna make sure we fill all your needs. You came here for spiritual growth, physical growth, so we're gonna make sure our bodies are fueled properly. I'm gonna have my wizard in the background run the video because at Freedom Gains, it's not just profitable consumption, it's prevention to prevent injury. Okay, and that's what you get when you shop with us, because we're building relationships, not just looking for.
It's such a huge difference between muscle strength and muscle endurance. I remember my coach taught me. Everybody's strong in the beginning of a fight. Everybody's fast in the beginning of the game. But in the fourth quarter, the second half, when you're down and when you can't catch your breath, that's when the opportunity presents itself to press forward and overcome. What you gonna do when you can't catch your breath? What you gonna do when the enemy's still coming and it's already taking your best punch? What you gonna do when you find out it's not as easy as you thought? Nah, can't stop, won't stop. I'm still standing. What you gonna do when your enemy takes the best punch? You gonna fold up? It's time to go home? Cause it's not as easy as you thought? Nah, not on my watch. It's too many people that you care about. It's too many people that are depending on you. Too many people depending on me. Too many people I care about. No such thing as quit. It's not in my vocabulary. It doesn't exist. Press forward and overcome. Fearless faith, muscle endurance, longevity. The more muscle, the more oxygen, they say, right? But we're gonna train even harder. Supersets, 100 to 200 reps, whatever it takes. It ain't supposed to be easy. Coach always said everybody's strong in the beginning of the fight. Everybody's fast in the beginning of the game. But when the fourth quarter comes around, when it's the last 2 minutes left, or you in the fourth round, or when you in the 10th round, are you trying to go the distance? Muscle endurance, longevity, fourth quarter mentality, training for that VO2 max, increasing that cardiac output. You know, we had those sprints, and the sprints only last for that little bit of my time, but that's for a reason. And so trying to increase that VO2 max, fighting through those burns in the shoulder when your arms get heavy. But what your coach said, you gotta keep your hands up. You gotta keep your hands up. If you don't keep your hands up, hook is coming. Best believe, the hook is coming at life, or the hook is coming by the enemy. And the enemy can't win. Because there is no giving up, because you only fail when you give up. And when the enemy saw me on my knees, he didn't know I was praying. There is no quit, because we're all heart, empowered by faith, fueled by love. There's too many people depending on us. There's too many people that want to see us win. There's too many people that want to see us lose or quit. Somebody needs a blessing. Mentor says, an example is better than an opinion. You won't see me quit. It ain't gonna happen. You can count on it. You can wait for it. But like Ali said, I see fear. I see fear in the eyes of his followers. Empowered by my Heavenly Father, Amos Ellis, I hear his voice within my heart and in my head daily. Fear not, son. Keep shining. Keep shining.
Here at the Barroom Network, we're not going to just sit here and talk about millionaires. We want you to be healthy. Okay, my brother. I learned from my brother. Gut health relates to brain health, and at the end of the day, when we take the time to take care of our bodies, we can have a better output overall. Okay, 100% of all retail profits goes to Mombasa Relief Initiative, feeding hungry and children in need of education overseas. Okay, when you become a customer, you sign up for AmPerks, you will get free reward points, free shipping, and all those things. But it's not about the sale, like I said, it's about relationships. But we're gonna get into all of that because, like I said, this show is about gains. This show is about Chicago sports. This show is about people that have a common ground in Chicago, how Chicago overcomes, and we're gonna talk about it. So kicking around the road real quick, brother JE. Season's over. Season's over. We're 10 games under 500. But you know what? There was a lot of things that transpired during the course of the season. Front office came in and made a lot of moves towards the end of the second half of the season. And so, but what were some key takeaways in your opinion from this past season?
Key takeaway for me is we're ready for change. And that's the biggest thing that I get from the front office and the moves that they made. We're simply ready for change. We understand that the trajectory that we were on wasn't the most promising. So we started making some changes. We started moving some pieces around. We changing the coach, bringing in another all-star, and then proving that this team can play and prove that this market is is a worthy destination for a free agent looking for a place to contend, win, and be loved if you put the work in. We're a blue collar town, so if anybody is ready to come put the work in, we kind of put the world on notice that even without Levine, and even we got back at the end of the season, it's like this is what you're getting. There may be some more interchangeable pieces from some players, some guys that are here, but either way, it's just like I think a lot of free agents are probably looking at Chicago a little differently now. It's like, all right, where can I go and compete and not be like sixth man on a super team? And I think that was my key takeaway from the season, and showing people that that we are ready for change, and then just letting them know that we're not finished. Like there's no part no part that I take away from the season is like, all right, that was it. I'm curious to see what happens once the off season officially begins. Ours is now, but I'm just curious to see what's happening. We'll talk about that a little later, but just curious to see, what happens. My key takeaway is that We finished strong. Now it's time to finish the rebuild.
Game 6.
Oh man, I mean, perfectly said right there, and I absolutely agree. What comes to mind is upgrading, because that we were definitely better than last year, for sure. And we've made from top down all the way back up changes and improvements from personnel, coaching staff, and front office. And we knowing that this wasn't a finished product. This, like Josh just said, this isn't it. And it's definitely Chicago will always be like a area for free agents because it's just of the market. And man, there are two in at least 2 years, and it leads me to believe that the Chicago Bulls are going to win the championship in 2 years. Because of what we have laid in foundation. We kind of like planted this season, and it's going to attract two Chicago legends. Kind of like why you see what's going on with the Sky right now. By the way, shout out to the Sky that pulled off the victory without Candace Parker yesterday. Shout out to Diamond D Shields crushing it. But a Shot Town legend came back. I think the Sky going to win the championship in the WNBA. But we set it up for some nice pieces to add to the roster. I like what we'll see from Patrick Williams, and we're going to touch on it later. The players that that we see potential win for the future, and you guys are going to be surprised by who I've already decided on who's like giving you some promise. Believe it or not, you guys will be surprised by that. But I definitely see nothing but a positive outlook, and truth be told, man, I see championship in 2 years. I have no problem diving into that further, but I see a championship in 2 years.
Hey, bro, I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, look what our front office did in his first season. That was a first year coach. That was coach's first year. And ladies and gentlemen, that's who coached Russell Westbrook, ladies and gentlemen. Same coach. You see what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, the key takeaways, the growth. Let's just talk about it. The key takeaways. Kobe White showed me that he could play some basketball.
That's funny.
Kobe, that's what he showed. Kobe White told me. He said when the trade happened, obviously everybody we wanted to go after a point guard. We wanted LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball, that point guard position was the biggest thing that was surrounding that trade time. We were refreshing to get a point guard update. And I was hoping, we were all hoping that Kobe would take that personally and say, hey, I'm not just going to bend over and just let y'all replace me. And so a key takeaway is, especially when Zach was out, I saw Kobe be aggressive, attack the rim, poster a couple people. He gives me hope. Josh, can I dunk, bro? Because I saw Kobe. I saw my man Kobe there and just go straight jam. But not just one play, but back-to-back plays, increasing his field percentage per game, like by 6 to 8 points. I mean, on a consistent basis, I'm like, man, I want to keep Kobe now. I honestly want to keep Kobe, and he's young. I think is he 20 years old? Is he 20? Is he 21 years old?
22, 23.
Maybe 20.
I think like 22 or something like that. He's young.
And so, like, to have somebody who's not, guys, we played the Celtics. We played, like, look at the teams that we just beat. It's over, but we beat some teams recently that are in the playoffs. You see what I mean? And so my key takeaways are, when we are healthy, we are a force. And when we're not healthy, we're still a problem because we were still holding our own. We just couldn't finish. So my key takeaways from the season was, I believe we have somewhat learned how to finish games. Was our number one problem going into the season. Halfway through the season, way too many turnovers, and then we couldn't finish games. And so getting better at the point of attack. That's what I saw. Okay, what do you guys see as in terms of the bright future? Zach sees a bright future. Jordan, I may have stole your thunder, but I definitely want to hear your perspective. What are some things you should be excited about?
No, it was just like, no, we were seeing the exact same thing. So it's just like it's a beautiful thing, like, because I gotta admit, like, because I've been more critical of Kobe White than both you guys combined. I gotta admit, it's just like, I like what I've seen from that. It wasn't even the dunk, but it's just like I'm looking like Like it's only one game in May where he didn't have double figures, and that was pretty embarrassing. But it was against the Nets the second go around. But he's had a few 20-point games, like 1, 2, 3. He's had 3 20-point games, and he's had at least 6 games over like 16 points as a third, third, sometimes fourth option. That's pretty decent right there. He's averaging like 15, 4 and 5, and I'm looking at his, his journey so far. His points per game have increased from last season by 2 points. He's almost he's 2 more assists per game from last season, and he's doing a little bit more on the rebound side. So he's getting better. He's shooting 2% more better from the field goal. So there have been I believe in the margins. When I see incremental increases in those margins, points, field goal percentage, assists, and rebounds, I can't I can't disregard that. So Kobe White is someone I'm looking forward to that can spark that fire off the bench, but that's not really what I'm excited about in terms of the future of the Bulls. Because like we set it up because we have some pieces that are still movable, but man, we set it up in 2 years where man, Anthony Davis and Derrick Rose will be in Chicago Bull uniform at the same time, and that year they're gonna win the title because any team in the NBA can be beaten right now because this finals is not clear cut. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like 8 teams that can win it. With AD and D Rose, this team can be one of those 8 teams in 2 years that can win it for sure. Because when AD's contract is up, I think Derrick Rose should stay with the Knicks 1 more year because I like what New York is doing. Like they have such a chemistry. It's just like put that to use 1 more year and let Derrick Rose retire a Bull. AD finishes contract, and then we can keep the same pieces. We can keep the exact same pieces, but those get acquired in free agency. They get acquired in free agency. Simple as that. So if anything, we're just we're making moves because of cap space, but not because we're giving up personnel. You know what I'm saying? So and then again, Billy Donovan, that's Joakim Noah's coach. You know what I'm saying? From Florida. So it's just like there's a culture building there. There's a culture building there. So it's just like that's what I see because the same thing that happened with Kevin Durant return to DC. Probably it's like the map actually works out. From a quantitative perspective, it could actually happen. Some things will have to be figured out, but could it happen? Absolutely. And that's what I see for the future. A championship in 2 years.
JE.
Oh, we're definitely. I think we're contending. I think we're contending in 2 years because outside of the Nets, which we don't even know if it'll implode this
Yeah.
postseason or not. Everybody's beatable. We've beaten everybody. We've beaten everybody in the East that they said we need that we would have to worry about. And we've done it incomplete. So,
Yeah.
like I said, Zach buying in. We touched on this last week. Like pretty much saying, "Hey, you only got max me out. Give me some help." And, those types of plays, the types of free agency. I know you said you talked about D Rose. I think D Rose is he could very well be a possibility next year. I think he's got plenty of money, so he's not looking for a long contract or an extreme payday. I think he's going to weigh his options because with Lonzo Ball being a free agent, Lonzo Ball could be looking at New York because he wants to go to a bigger market because he doesn't like New Orleans. He likes the team, but he hates the city. They're also looking at Kyle Lowry, whatever. So I think that when him being a free agent, he's going to take his time like he always does, and wait to see when pieces fall, and then he'll take a vet's minimum somewhere to play. It might be to stay in New York, depending on how well. I think him staying in New York another season depends on how well they do this year. If they they don't even got to win the first round, but if they just prove they can compete, I think it's something worth staying around. And plus, at the end of the day, he'll never turn his back on the coach. He never turns his back on him. And so he's a good chance he'll be there for a while. 80, I don't know, but I heard he just bought a $31 million house in LA. And so, but against Anthony Davis, so it's 30. I don't know, but I don't think $31 million is a lot of money to Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So he could very well sell it, put that house on the market, depending on how LA season goes this year.
Right.
We don't know. But I definitely think our future is definitely bright. Like I said, Donovan's not one on the pro level yet, but he got scholarships. He got scholarships, whatever. And the main reason why those teams are successful is, to your point, was the culture. those were winning programs that he was responsible for. And wasn't Donovan the coach when they went to the finals?
The NBA finals?
With OKC.
No, man, that's Scott Brooks.
Scott Brooks. Okay, Scott Brooks. Okay, all right, cool.
Yes, the Wizards coach. Yeah, he was still coaching at Florida.
He's still coaching Florida. Okay, so I mean, but either way, you know, he understands winning. He has a winning culture, and so like I said, I truly believe our future is bright, and it's not the same denial that they would normally say Bulls fans have, like how they say we can still taste the '90s. Nah, it's we're gonna be in a position where we can seriously compete, and I really foresee somebody coming into filling the void. Like I said, I love what Kobe did too. Kobe pretty much played. We all talked about this in here, whatever. He was just like, hey, yo, I'm not expendable, and here's why. You know, and so throughout that last stretch, outside of the Brooklyn game, whatever, he proved that he could get it done. And so, but I think that, you know, we're a free agent or a piece or two away from like, all right, not really being tossed around by any of these so-called super teams or bigger teams in the East, and they can start putting us in that discussion. And so I'm just excited to see what happens.
And so, Josh, with that right there, and what we just had up there, when we talk about Patrick Williams, we only need to seek our free agents when we're not willing to develop our own talent that we draft. And so, what are we going to do with the talent that we already have? I mean, look, we have somebody who's trade bait. We have somebody that might be trade bait. We may have a guy Patrick Williams, who wants to be known for his grit and hustle, like a Tom Gibson in his prime. And so, it all depends on which direction the Bulls want to go. Or do they want to get bigger and stronger down low, or do we want somebody at the top of the key who's not going to create a bunch of turnovers? And so it all depends on or attack both options. That would be perfect in a perfect world, because it's all about the type of basketball. As we just saw, the Bulls, they were 21-21 in the East, but they beat as many teams above 500, and they've lost to teams sub 500. So they've hit it on both sides of the spectrum. We are optimistic because we know they're capable. I've seen it. I've seen them execute. When they execute a play, it looks they play really good basketball, and it doesn't all have to be Zach. That's the best part about it, because let the young man breathe. What we should have learned from Derrick Rose is when Derrick Rose is the offense for 3 years, it eventually will wear down your body. Zach, I believe, is only 25, 26 years old. So the fact that he has a Nikola here already, and we have a coach who believes in everybody that can score. I mean, Thaddeus just passed 1,000 games or something, had 20 points the other night against the Celtics. And so it's like a good GM also has to have those veterans that are going to play those spots. I love Daniel Theis. I think he's going to be a huge role in the future. Huge. I will love this. You got to remember, I think next year we make the move for it, but next year is the year that we use that max player. It don't have to be a max player, but Zach is willing to forego a max contract so the Bulls can go out and seek somebody. It doesn't have to be, in my opinion, I agree, it doesn't have to be a big splash. It may be two good pieces. At the end of the day, I don't want to chase names unless it's Chris Paul. If it's Chris Paul, then that's different.
Well, honestly, man, it's just like, because we already have two solid all-stars, and even though Anthony Davis is a big name, it's just because he's from Chicago. Him coming, it's real, it's very realistic that he's coming to Chicago, because once he's done with the Lakers, he'll only be like 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and once LeBron is kind of like retired and up in the league, like in 2 years, like the Lakers are not winning an NBA title. AD is going to be 30, and you got the Kobe Whites, the Patrick Williams, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the Zach LaVines. Truth be told, you would have the best front court in the league with AD and Nikola, and then we would have a big three right there, because those three would be in the All-Star game. Those three will be all-stars. So we would have our big three. So we will be able to battle the Nets as number one right there. So like AD makes us a championship contender out the gate. And we talked about Lonzo, or even D Rose or Chris Paul. But like, the thing about D Rose is that we'll get D Rose just with the loyalty, because again, he's not pressed about the money. So like you can actually like you can secure D Rose because he's a great pickup. He's exactly what you would want on like these platforms like Jock Market, man, where you can get Derrick Rose for the low, but he's going to increase his value during the game where you're going to come up on top like in the green, like normally in wins or in profits. But like that's how it works with those kind of players when they don't need the money. You know what I'm saying? You can get them for the low, and that's just how it works.
And so, and Jay, you make a good point because, and I love the AD, but that would have to be the season after next season.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I'm good with that. I'm okay where I'm okay where we land next season. Like
right.
I believe that AD's coming in 2 years. Until AD comes, we're just gonna have 2 All-Stars. We're not gonna unless we get a third All-Star this year free agency. That'll be dope. But if we don't, we will have 3 All-Stars in 2 years. That's what I do know.
It's so, but at this point, the Chicago Bulls, we have a lot of players on the team that hope they could come back to the Bulls.
Yeah, we gotta get to the playoffs first. Like like our goal next year is playoffs, and then after that is with AD championship. That's what I see.
Right. But also we got to remember, like a lot of guys that are not under contract anymore, and so like we have to.
It's baseball.
we have a roster to fill, and so there's plenty of optimism. We all see this right here. JE, just real quick. I mean, before we get into playoff talk, I mean, what's one key thing you want to see from this offseason? Like Jordan said, it is going that free agency is going to be a big free agency. But however, Bulls Nation, we want to win now. We want to develop now. Coaches get fired on wins and losses. You see what I'm saying? They can't just wait for this. They can't wait for what might happen. If the Bulls are going to fill a roster, which I believe AK is aggressively going to do, if he did it with trades, he's going to do it with money. So, like, he'll figure that out. Obviously, if we want to contend, what's one of your key things you want him to do into the offseason?
One of the key things. Hold on. See, Sam, I'm wearing a D Rose jersey. Somebody in chat asked what jersey I had on. Had a D Rose jersey on. So that's homie. We always rocking with D Rose regardless. That's why we talk about him so much. What the main thing I want to see from the front office is the same energy. That's what I want. I don't want like them comfortable. Oh, all right, it's like now finish the fight. Where we've made strides, and that's just what I want, because again we want to win, but I mean everybody wants to win now, but it's just like I'm not, I'm also, like I said to you, I don't want to chase a name just to sell tickets or to get us a first round or a second round bounce. It's like I want a team put together. Teams win championships, super, subpar, whatever. Teams win championships. So I'm not about chasing a big name that doesn't mesh with what we've already begun to build. And normally that's what happens when you chase a name, whatever, right? And then the rest of the team ends up playing the hero ball and just passing it to them because they're just so happy that you're there. And then that person doesn't make a difference. I mean, you've seen that all the time. I mean, honestly, not to talk about another organization right now, whatever, but a lot like that's what's happening for the Clippers right now. They got big names, and then they're still not winning. And then players like Paul George become like a sacrificial lamb because it's his fault they can't get it done because they still haven't figured out how their system works yet. They don't know who's the guy, him or Kawhi. So I don't want that. I don't want us to become the Clippers of the East, or the Central Division by just bringing in a big name for the sake of a big name, and then we don't have 3 seasons to figure it out. We don't. And the reason why I'm not, and everybody should have the mindset championship or bust. Is why do you play? No one should be playing to make the playoffs. Because that's like and the thing in Chicago, we're not like one of those other franchises where we got a bunch of like divisional championship banners because we've actually won rings. So we don't want a bunch of Central Division. Who cares about that? Whatever. It's like where's the Larry O'Brien at? Where's the if it's not it back at the UC, that's all that matters. But I don't want somebody who wants to come here and be the star. And bear in mind when they couldn't get it done where they're at, thinking that they're going to make a difference here, and then we waste time and money. So to your point, until an 80, we know 80's going to come home. Every Chicago team wants to play, and he's already said whatever that he wants to play for the Bulls. Like he wants to play for the Bulls when it's all said and done. I think that he got his ring, and he got his money, and when he's done there, he's coming home.
Yep.
Very similar to what Candace did. Candace
Yep.
said she wants one more and she wants to retire, but she wants to win a championship at home and then she'll
Exactly.
retire. And so, we know that's on the way. And not saying we're waiting on that, but I also think that whatever bona fide superstar, all-star is not the piece, may not necessarily be the piece that we need. I'd rather have a piece or two that really complements what we got going, that are going to come in and help, and not necessarily overshadow what we got going on
Right.
now.
The piece has to come right now because this is the piece is gonna when AD comes, it shouldn't be a get us over the top. It should be we're great and you could I think we have a good coach and AD has such an amazing skill set. Like he could kind of just he knows how to play his role and leave from where he's at. And so, but we have to go get that third option, that secure third option. That's not gonna because it's not about scoring points.
No.
I'm talking not causing turnovers because
Yeah.
it's not the point. We're not losing games because we can't score enough. We score in the 120, we score in the 110s, but it's when we have 15 plus turnovers. That's when we lose those fourth quarter. We had those fourth quarter meltdown, and so front. I believe in this guy. This guy, AK. I think he built Denver.
He built Denver's whole. The team
built
Denver is now. He's responsible for that entire team.
Right.
That entire team.
Yeah. So he's methodically building that team out and trying to keep them the salary cap under control and everything. And so I'm definitely. The future's looking good. Guys, I want to go around. I want to spend a good segment. I want to take Bulls Nation. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We want to go back in time, and we want to talk about our favorite glue guy because Josh and Jordan, you guys both talked about something. We want to build a team. We're building a team, and when you're building a team, who's those collection of guys that's going to be around for 2-3 seasons and play at a high level for 2-3 seasons plus? I'm gonna say 3 seasons plus. Who's your favorite glue guy in Bulls history? And I want to hear some different answers, obviously. But like, who, in your opinion, kept some things together during the course of time, in your opinion? Josh, I'm gonna come to you real quick.
All right. So then I gave you 3, right?
Yes, you did.
So all right, let's set up. Okay. So my first glue guy is going to be the player. The player that I believe is the glue guy for, in my opinion, would be Scottie Pippen. It's not Michael Jordan. As much as we love Michael Jordan, the glue guy is not normally the star. It's not the all-star or the superstar or the leader of the team. It's normally his the supporting cast or his backup guy or his wing. Because with Pippen, a lot of those players from those dynasty days say that Pippen was their favorite teammate. He also was he wasn't Jordan's like Robin. He was more so his yin to his yang. They complemented each other. He's the one that pushed Jordan to become better. Michael Jordan has openly said he's not the player he's not the player he is historically without Scottie Pippen, because Scottie Pippen's who had to guard him and push him in practice. Pippen's also the player that would do anything and everything to win. Pippen can knock down a 3. Pippen can lock down the defender on any team, and also Pippen can score. Pippen's only the only time Pippen's glue would have dried up at all is when he didn't want to come off the bench. When he didn't want to come in the game while Mike was out in that series. But other than that, I feel like he's the glue because we don't win without him, and his personality kept a lot of those guys motivated, especially for those who weren't used to or couldn't handle Michael's personality. He put us in a position to see the bigger picture. So my glue guy as a player is Scottie Pippen. I got 3 glue guys. My second glue guy, of course, is Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, I would say, is the glue guy because he had the responsibility of managing so many people and personalities. And Scottie is completely different from Rodman. Rodman is completely different from Jordan. Everybody else just had to buy in. But it was keeping the cohesion between those guys, the nucleus of the team, was so instrumental to us winning. And then I would say he's the glue because our future and the potential 4 or 5 rings we could have won, the asterisk by our legacy, was based heavily on him. And him not necessarily being brought back. It was a ripple effect. Everybody was like, with Phil's here, Mike's like if Phil's here, I'm here. And then came so on and so on, which brings me to my next glue guy. Yeah, shouts out to Phil, the Zen Master, because Phil was the glue. Phil took what he knew to LA and got Kobe 5 rings. And so I feel like he was definitely a strong piece of glue that kept our team together. But in the last piece, controversial piece, people can feel a way about this, but facts are facts. God bless the dead. But Jerry Krause is actually probably the greatest glue guy of our franchise. Hear me out before y'all start going crazy in the comments. Now he can't shoot. He was about 5 feet nothing, and is in pride and ego, they do men in, and that's kind of what happened. I mean, we didn't have to watch The Last Dance to know what happened. We're all from Chicago, we know what happened. But outside of his personal issues, he was amazing at his job. Like, he was responsible for putting all of those pieces together. Now, he slipped up when he said to the strongest, when he came out and offended the strongest piece by saying that organizations win championships and like taken away from the fact that players had to go play. But it was his eye, it was his eye to scout talent. It was his guy. If it wasn't for him, we don't move Oakley. We don't get Pippen. We don't get Horse. His problem is that he was full of himself and figured that it was like that he could do it over and over again because he did it twice. So after the first repeat, and we pretty much flipped out everybody but Pippen, he did the same thing. And then when that second title run, we had guys that bought in, but that was him. It's just that he just assumed because of his ability to scout talent and put pieces together. He saw the pieces before they were put together, and they worked. So you got to give that guy, you have to give that man credit. He didn't pick up a basketball and he didn't create the triangle offense or run the Doberman D or have us doing anything. And he may play a major role in the demise of the dynasty, or the reason why we even have a Last Dance and not a dominant decade. That was nice. Not a Last Dance, a dominant decade, for sure. But he is well, here's the thing, Santiago. It's easy to say that, and there's a lot of things. He's not an angel. That's why I said this is controversial. He's not an angel, and he played a major piece. But understand that him doing his job puts us where we need to be. I don't know if we have anybody else in his position that drafts the way he drafts or recruits the way he recruits, that gives us these pieces and keeps us together for however long we see fit, and we win. That's why he's my controversial glue. My player's Pippen. I think Phil is instrumental, but essentially Jerry Krause, whether we like it or not, has a lot to do with us. Okay.
Oh my God.
You're not gonna convince him. So you're not gonna convince him.
I'm not good. Hey, look, and we all have our feelings about him. But the fact that remains is that if he was not good at his job, we would have not been as good as we were historically on the court. And that's my glue.
Awesome. Great stuff, Dave. Game 6, brother. You're a glue guy. Game 6. I mean,
yeah, man. No, like you can literally like. Oh, for sure, man. Like it's kind of funny because Josh, you just kind of like ranked really well. I agree. Like those are definitely the top 3, and I mean, I say outside of like front office, we're talking about personnel. There's one person I've been looking at, like he will be like 4th, like behind like Phil and Scotty, and it's definitely Dennis, man. Because when I was thinking about glue guy, this is why I was thinking about AD because like it's that right there, but like I'm just looking at his stats. Dennis Rodman averaged over like 11 rebounds for a decade. He played a lot of minutes. Like when we talk about, because we all saw The Last Dance, so we saw like it was, and we all saw like the the 98 Bulls one, which I forgot which one that was called right there, but like it was patchy in 98. You know what I'm saying? So we needed every like offensive opportunity that we got. And with Dennis Rodman, we had more possessions. You know, more rebounds, and it allowed Scotty and Mike to do more. Even though Scotty was kind of like, not the same even now last year because of injury. You had somebody else other than Scotty and Mike that was aggressive on the defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not to take away from anyone else, but he was better on the defensive end than the Bill Cartwrights and the Horace Grant. Like, you felt him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Horace Grant didn't like Dennis Rodman gave problems to Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Horace Grant wouldn't be able to give problems to Shaq. You know what I'm saying? It's like Bill Cartwright wouldn't give Shaq any problems. Dennis Rodman is very scrappy, and like I just like what he's been able to do over his career. No, we're talking about he averaged 15 rebounds for us for the 3 years he was here. He had 14.9, 16.1, and a 15.0 on the dot. You know what I'm saying? That's effort right there. 15 rebounds, like you're creating possessions and we're controlling the boards. So when you talk about glue guy, you know, we're able to, you know, score more, have more possessions because we're like a team that doesn't read. If you get out rebound every game, you're not going to win a lot of games. But like with Dennis Rodman, I looked at our team stats back in that 3P era right there. But like I'm pretty sure we were out rebounding every team. Just we could probably check the stats on that, but I'm pretty sure we were out rebounding every team. And that right there does make a difference. That's how you go 72-10. You know, when you out rebound a team. I mean, look at the effect that Draymond Green's having. You know, it's just like he may not score a lot of points, but he'll get those rebounds, but like he's getting assists too. I think Dennis Rodman, with the evolution of today's game, Dennis Rodman would have been a better version of Draymond Green. You know, for sure. Definitely from a taller, more athletic, and more of a pest. You know, everything you would want from like that third player, everything that we got from Joakim Noah. But like Dennis Rodman was, it's kind of funny because they both never developed their shot. They never learned how to shoot, neither of them. But in terms of rebound, effort, aggression, they were there every single night. And like we just saw right there, if Joakim Noah was the glue for like that D Rose Bulls, which I think he was. You know, outside of D Rose, Dennis Rodman was definitely, because I consider Scotty and Mike. All right, like who helped Scotty and Mike? Not necessarily who helped Mike, but who helped Scotty and Mike? You know, who helped Scotty and Mike the best out of supporting cast? And we're talking about Kukoc, Grant, Rodman, Cartwright, and Longley. I got to go with Rodman because he came to the team with championship, you know, pedigree, like you say, and he's coming, and he came to us. Coming off of almost like he was averaging like 17 rebounds in San Antonio, you know. So it was like that was an awesome move. We picked up the best rebounder in the NBA.
Yep,
the best rebounder in the NBA. Like he's the glue guy. Case closed. The best rebounder in the NBA to back up the best duo in the NBA. That's like saying like Dwayne Wade, because Dwayne Wade wasn't the glue guy to the big three. It was Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, and Chris Bosh was kind of the glue guy because he gave us work. He gave Boozer the work. Gave him 30 with the turf toe. I remember that game. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like Chris Bosh filled a lot of holes. It wasn't just Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, but when you got a big three, that usually that third guy's the glue guy. And I think Nikola is going to be our glue guy because Zach LaVine still needs the player at the big man position that is just as good as he is, if not better. Nikola still isn't that. That's where AD comes into play. Nikola will be our glue guy, who will be our third option because he'll be a solid, 18 and 12 guy. And AD double figures in the rebounding category, 20 plus in the points. And then Zach LaVine, we got our shooters with Zach and Kobe. It's going to be the Zach and Kobe show. Straight jacking. With Patrick Williams being an emergent 3-and-D. Solid right there. You got, Aminu re-signed back. Thaddeus Young. So, like, I see them just – what we got coming, man, it's going to be similar to the past. That's what I see, and that's what I feel. So it's just like Josh said, it's like we expect championship because, man, we can feel it in the air. That's all I got.
And great points, great points. Dennis Rodman, the only person that Michael Jordan said that he was scared of.
You gotta put Dennis in the conversation, man.
That's the only person Michael said he was scared of, and he held Shaq to 0 points in the game.
He's in his own category.
He is in his own.
He's in his own category.
I would put like he would give LeBron James like problem. Like he's like LeBron James of that day and age for that position. Like he's like LeBron James, like without the scoring, because he was physical, he was strong, but most importantly, he wasn't scared.
Yeah,
And that's what we needed at the time, because that he went
exactly.
in there to give us the dirty work. Game, you hit it on the head. He gave us more chance to get possessions. He broke the record. What, 22 offensive rebounds?
Yeah.
22 offensive rebounds? Like you said, that increases the ratio. So yeah, man, good stuff, bro. Good stuff. I'm glad we all have different opinions and everybody said something great.
I think Jordan won.
Oh wow.
I think Jordan won.
Oh wow, man.
They all should play a factor, because if they all don't play a factor, then we wouldn't have won multiple championships.
It's like a list. It's like a list, honestly. I would put Robin behind your list, Jay. Like in terms of fourth, because those three guys, Krause, Phil, and Scotty, yeah, like those guys definitely were the glue. But it's just like, like that dirty work guy. You know what I'm saying? The guy that was just gifted, strong, like that's what a glue guy is.
And literally, and all he needed to do to be successful, he just needed to go to Vegas for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, the main
he
thing
was raw.
The main thing that Robin did the best was he didn't try to play outside of his position. He didn't mind having no points scored. He had 25 rebounds that night
and 0 points.
And so, but that's a great teammate.
Yeah, exactly. Selfless. That's what it is. Like once he gets a rebound, he passes it. He's not dribbling the ball up the court like draining time. He's passing the ball to Scotty or Mike. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what the glue guy does on the Bulls. And during that time frame, you pass it to Scotty and Mike. Yeah, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Dennis Rodman's perfect. You create more possessions, you're giving Scotty and Mike more opportunities to score.
Okay, so real quick, finishing up with my glue guy. I mean, this is a guy that came into the league that Jerry Krause went on the stage and said this guy will be the future of the Chicago Bulls. That didn't rub Michael and Scotty very gracefully. At that time, there was only a handful of like Euro guys even playing NBA basketball, but Jerry Krause saw Tony Kukoc being a phenomenal talent, beating the table for Chicago to draft him. After drafting him, he didn't come until a couple years later. But Michael and Scotty were so upset at Jerry Krause for saying like all this stuff that when they met in the '92 Olympics, it was Scotty and Mike that couldn't wait to shut him down. They each took turns. But what that did was most people would have ran away from that. All his teammates were telling Tony, "Yo, they coming at you. You don't want to get out?" He said, "Nah." He embraced that challenge. They was getting in him. He even threw an elbow to Scotty. So he wasn't scared. But he came to Chicago. I believe that next season. He met Michael. He said, "I came because I was so excited to play with you." Michael was actually devastated because that's when Michael's dad passed, and Tony came all that way to find out Michael was retiring. And Michael told Tony, he said, one of the reasons why I came back, because that year I sat out, I watched how sad you look without me being there. And he said it's one of my top 10 reasons why I came back to play with you. And so when you talk about somebody that not only gave Michael over 20 buckets when he played against them with the Wizards and in the Hawks, but Michael
is a beast.
Tony Kukoc would give you blocks, assists, rebound, and would score himself. He would throw the perfect alley, but he would split the defense, but he wasn't scared to get physical. So when you talk about a glue guy, you talk about a guy who at the end of the day is going to run with you. Everybody don't got to be the man, but when you're running in the stampede, when you're running in battle, you want to look to your left and your right, and you want to see who's down for the call. And for me, that was Tony Kukoc. He wasn't scared to shoot the shot. He wasn't scared to shoot the shot, and he wasn't afraid to pass it up. He knew if he was open, he said, "I got it." Okay, those 5 rebounds, those 4 or 5 assists, but those 2-3 blocks and 3 steals, that stuff, that second three-peat, that was big stuff. That was truly big stuff, and it got sad when everybody finally left and everything. But when Tony went to I think he went to the Hawks, and Michael was trying to punk him. Michael was trying to punk him even when Michael played with the Wizards. And Tony gave him buckets. Tony was only average like 9 points that season. But Tony Kukoc gave Michael like a good 20, a good hardcore 20. But that's my glue guy because at the end of the day, it's cool to love Michael, but you don't want people to worship him. You want people that run alongside with him. And that's what makes a championship team. Like it's one thing to have groupies, but if you're a part of that championship, you got to have faith in your own capabilities. And Tony Kukoc, in my opinion, he brought it every night. 6th man of the year, at least once or twice coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that, like how selfless he came when he had to transition to the pro game, but like this was also the best kid from Croatia. Like he was the best player in his country. And then to come here and be like, hey, and then take that role, like, yeah, he did everything. He made
he's
the pass.
a beast.
The only thing Mike said he didn't like about him is that he wouldn't work on his offhand. And other than that, though, whatever, it was like, in those series when Mike was gone, he was hitting them shots. That's kind of what got Scotty in his feelings. But other than that, though, whatever, it's like he was never afraid. You want a guy who's not necessarily the man, but they're not afraid of the moment. And Kukoc was that. Like, when the play got drawn up, he's like, I'll shoot it. He was gonna have to shoot it if he was in Croatia. He was gonna shoot it during the Olympics. So he's like, he was used to that. So, and that made us special. That's what made us special. Like with Robin, again, championship pedigree, whatever. And it was just like, all right, like when in the defining moment, we need you to do this. Boom! I'm gonna bet. That's what I did. I did that in the finals. I'm gonna come do it for y'all now. And all I got to do is this. So now I think everybody had great examples of Big Lou.
And let's pay him some homage and say congratulations for making it to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's about time. He should have been in there. It's about time.
That's what's up.
Been in the Hall of Fame, yo.
Kukoc is a beast, bro.
He should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Tony Kukoc. And so, guys, as we're getting ready to wrap up out of here real quick, we definitely want to go over not some NBA playoffs, but Game 6. If you can just give us some wisdom, brother, on some NBA playoff picks. What's cooking over there at Game 6? I mean, we know you everywhere, and you everywhere, anywhere, brother. So you can bless us with some beautiful spreads for this NBA playoffs, man. Where should we put our money?
He looked like he's looking at some money right now.
I am. No, he's right. He's right. Oh man. Well, what's popping off in 2 minutes? Actually, you probably catch the live action. Is the Pacers and Wizards. That's the only playing game for the day. Now, we actually went with the adjusted over. That was originally set at 239.5. Tweaking that down to the lower 230s will cover that wager. They have the Pacers actually winning 121 to 119, which is a 240 cover, man. Which will happen. The Wizards don't play defense, but I definitely expect a better output from an offense perspective from Wizards. I've been following them a lot lately, but Indiana is definitely a good team, even though they're in our division. And for tomorrow, man, definitely seeing Golden State just take over Memphis. That's going to be a good game right there. Yesterday's games were phenomenal, and then if you all see it right there, if you haven't already, that link right there is to Jock Market. And this is where we're talking about like sports and trading, not sports betting. All right. Because this is different. You the players, and as a network, when football season starts, it's going to be popping. Imagine having 20 shares of Justin Fields. How does that sound like? Imagine having 20 shares of Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It's basically you are just choosing on a player's performance. Missed shots, like turnovers, those count against. So it's all plus or minus. And that person's value can increase during the game. They have a live bidding for 2 hours before tip-off, and then you can trade while the game's going on. If your person, exceeds expectation, they perform very well, they have a good game, you're going to profit, but you're not limited to how much you can profit. And that's the best thing about it. There's people that have literally put $100 on Kendrick Nunn a couple days ago, and Kendrick Nunn's value went up 1,500%. That person netted $1,600 in one day. And did the Miami Heat win or lose? I don't know. It didn't matter. That's the difference right there. Okay, so when you use that code right there, you're gonna get the minimum deposit is $20, right? When you use that code right there, you're gonna get $20 on top of that. So you got more to work with, and you can start compounding profits every day off your favorite players. This is just the playoffs. Wait till the NFL starts. I know it's a C-Red radio, but it's just like, man, when the NFL kicks off, you have so many players. This is not daily fantasy sports. Not at all. This is a whole other league right here. But just in case you want more information, always subscribe to Game 6. Look out for more things popping with this channel coming into this later month because Gemini season is here. And I'm very excited about it. That's all I got, man. For now.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, brother. Appreciate you, champ. Well, as we get up out of here, Bulls Nation, we want to say, have a safe off season. We will do our best to keep you updated on any breaking Bulls news, any breaking Bulls trades, and we'll see what happens with the draft and all those picks and everything, and who's going to be on the roster. We have spots to fill, and so it's limited that today. But as we get out of here, C-Red Radio, we are all about bring Derrick Rose home, and so we're going to leave you with some moments, 2 moments to never forget. This was when the Bulls, they ended up actually sweeping the Miami Heat that year. This was the 3rd game that season.
Yep.
3rd game that season. Derrick Rose takes Dwayne Wade and LeBron James to the rim. To the rim. Oh man, LeBron said, "Boy,
God damn it, man! God damn it, man!"
It should have been an and one.
It was very clean. You think about it, bro. We actually split with the Heat that year, 4-4, because we did go 3-0 in the regular season, won the first game, and then obviously they gentlemen swept us, right? But that we split with Miami that year, game wise.
Christmas Day.
This is crazy.
Luau Ding got the steal. Give it to Derrick Rose. Mouse in the house. Derek Fisher, Paul Gasol. I want to go higher in my Stacey King voice.
he's so good at that, man. Like, it's uncanny. I think he's the best. Does Derrick Rose become the best float shooter? Even past, it's like Derrick Rose or Trae Young, the best floater in the NBA. Like, it's just like he does that like better than anyone I've ever seen.
I would say he has the most efficient floater. Like,
bro, like it's not like
because Trae Young has like a little guy's floater, like
yeah.
Tony Parker's. Like, it's like I'm driving to the basket and I'm just letting it go.
Yeah,
I don't want to take any contact. Derrick Rose is coming down, whatever, and it's like, I'm exposed to the basket. If I don't have the lift, dream shake this way, turn right around, the floater, like that whole his floater game is like, it's to the point now. Before, people used to people were just saying it was a circuit shot before, but it's just like, nah, he shoots it like a mid range, and it's like, no, regardless of
he's
what
pulling from free throw.
It's just like, I practice it now because
like push shot from. Yeah, me too.
I practice it now.
Yeah, me too.
Game, if I don't feel like going all the way to the basket, whatever, I come down, one dribble, come off with the drop step, and just let it fly. Let it fly.
Absolutely,
keep
man.
My elbow straight. It's amazing. Like he's amazing at that.
You get your shots up. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get your shots up.
And that's what I want you to leave us with. And so, Jordan, I'm gonna let you sign us out real quick. And I'm gonna say my shout outs to all Bulls Nation. It was a great season, and we'll definitely be back. In a couple of weeks, we'll see what happens with that. But Game 6, just talk to us real quick as we get out of here. Your thoughts on getting perspective. When you say getting your shots up, you're a great shot. Both of my brothers are great shots. I think, Jordan, you're like 92% from the field or something like that. And so,
you're so funny.
So just break down real quick as we get up out of here. Josh, give us some shout outs real quick, but then Jordan, just close us out of here with what happens when you take time to get perspective, because you took time to get perspective on how to improve your shot. And now you've applied that thought process to every aspect of life. And so after Josh gives us his shout outs, bro, end us with that and just get it Bulls Nation out here safely.
Well, Bulls Nation, it is our pleasure. Well, thank you for having us. You guys taking time out your day to sit here and talk about Chicago Bulls with us, the good, the bad, the ugly, and most importantly, the red. We appreciate everything that you guys do. Stay tuned. I mean, it's an off season for the Bulls, but not necessarily for us. We'll be talking about everything that's happening, especially as the postseason comes to a close, what's happening with our free agency, and our pickups and all that kind of things. Sky season still kicking off. We got plenty of basketball, Chicago basketball to talk about. Just bear with us. Like I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop doing this. But it's still like if nothing else, is the first time in a long time we have a lot to be excited about for Chicago sports, and that's just a good feeling. And we're gonna share those feelings and come and fellowship together. So stay tuned, stay locked, and keep running with us. You guys take it easy.
I love it, man.
I'm sorry. I'm about to say game 6. Go ahead and take us out.
You know what I'm saying? The gains in game, man. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. Now the perspective that you're touching on, man, is this. Repetition is reputation. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're like you realize that you're not gonna make every shot, but you're gonna make some big ones along the way. So when you just get your reps, like the misses, you're not faded by the misses, and you'll end up increasing your percentage on every time you succeed because you realize that when it's game time, there's actually less pressure on your performance because you're always gonna be your harshest critic. So like as you get better, as you take those 1,000 shots that no one sees, when it comes game time, it's like it may look amazing, but you've done this before. So like I'll leave you all with, again, just repetition is reputation, man. And I guess we're gonna segue into, when it comes to shot making, it's always like Michael Jordan always says the best way to jump is just to jump,
baby, but my
right?
heart blew.
So when it
My
comes to
money
shooting,
number one, so listen, ho, you just a
shoot
part
right
two,
here,
so
man.
play your part.
So,
I
this
ain't
is
got no
game six,
time for your
everything.
feelings now.
If
Landed
you
in
got
Miami,
six,
Rendo, Rari, put the
you should
ceilings
be
down.
actually, but follow game
Drip
6
check.
fit.
Shades on, neck wet, wrist wet. And I got that
this is
smile that make
one
your
of many
bitch wet.
segments right here.
In Miami, like
Just,
Santana
no
Town.
matter if you miss, make, you're gonna make some more. You're gonna keep shooting, man.
And I'm with my guys, all foreigns at the stop sign. And we spinning blocks, got a watch with our ops high. Bad bitch, looking like a pie. She on that time.
Video on IG and YouTube, man. But again, I started from like averaging 36% from the field, 3-point wise, to like, at least 41. No, 44, 44. 44 point something over the past few outings from 3-point, man, and that's a minimum of 100 shots from three. So it's just like you'll be surprised, but like not for long. Not for long, man. So with that, guys, we're wrapped up. If you want more, insight and information on how we, I would say robust ourselves in any aspect in life, man, definitely subscribe to the Barroom Network. The links are in the description box. We're here to impact the community and expand the wealth of knowledge because health is wealth. But also it comes with that, responsibility to share that value. So, man, thank you all for plugging in. This is your boy Game 6 representing the network, and we'll holler at you all very soon. Peace.